Remains committed to the air war.
The air campaign has been very, very effective, and it will continue for a while.
This is NBC Nightly News with Tom Brokaw. Tonight, America at war.
Good evening. Will there be a ground war, and if so, when? As we approach the end of week 4 of Operation Desert Storm, that remains the question. And it was on the president's desk during a high-level war council meeting today. NBC's John Cochran is at the White House tonight. John, what's the latest there?
Tom, the whole subject of the ground war has become so politically and emotionally charged that in public, at least today, the president cannot even bring himself to use the actual words ground war. But the president knew that is what everyone wanted him to talk about. And after meeting with his war council, Bush found a way to say no ground war. Not yet, anyway.
The air campaign has been very, very effective, and it will continue for a while. We're not talking about dates for further adding to the air campaign, put it that way.
Defense Secretary Dick Cheney and Joint Chiefs Chairman Colin Powell returned from Saudi Arabia without recommending an immediate ground campaign.
We are going to take whatever time is necessary to sort out when a next stage might begin. And I will not be discussing it any further than that. And I can guarantee you that there should be no further discussion of that for a lot of reasons, including the safety of our own troops.
The safety of American troops is the reason given by Republicans like Senator Bob Dole for urging Bush to delay a ground war. And today, Democrat David Boren, chairman of the Senate Intelligence Committee, wrote to the president, "You will come under increasing pressure from leaders in the region for reasons of their own domestic politics to move prematurely to a ground war." Senate sources say Boren was referring to leaders from Egypt, Kuwait, and especially from Saudi Arabia. But Bush emphasized he will listen to his military advisors.
General Schwarzkopf and others. And then if they come to me and say there needs to be another phase, then I will then make that decision.
For now, the president thinks it makes good military sense to pull back from a ground war. It also makes good political sense here at home. Tom?
Thank you, John Cochran. That's the view from the political heights. Now let's go to the Pentagon and get the military view from NBC's Fred Francis. Fred?
Tom, there are two very basic military reasons to delay the ground war a few more weeks. Air bombardment is causing major cracks in Iraqi troop morale, and destruction of Iraqi weapons continues. Sources say that most of Iraq's tanks and artillery pieces are dug deep into the sand, but U.S. attack pilots still say it is a target-rich battlefield because they can still be seen. Today, combat pilots flew 750 separate attacks just on Iraq's now suffering army in the Kuwaiti theater. NBC News has been told that almost 1,000 Iraqi tanks have now been destroyed. That's almost a quarter of the tanks facing Allied forces. But it is a slow process.
The way they have many of their tanks and artillery pieces and armored vehicles in place is one bomb per vehicle because they have them revetted. In some cases, they have them dug in. The more that kind of force can be attrited by air before we send in foot soldiers and tankers and artillerymen, the fewer casualties we're going to take.
The tank and artillery destruction is only part of the decision to wait. A growing number of Iraqi prisoners, including senior officers, are giving Allied forces important intelligence.
Those soldiers are demonstrating a towering frustration level because they got to come through their own minefields to get there. The hardest thing about giving yourself up to the Saudi Arabians is getting to Saudi Arabia because of the minefields, because of the barbed wire, because of the trenches filled with oil, because of the alleged squads that are moving around in the rear area looking for people who desert.
More than 1,000 prisoners now in Saudi Arabia talk of great hardship and cracking morale in the trenches. From those prisoners and other intelligence sources, the Allies estimate that another 4,000 Iraqi soldiers have risked those execution squads to desert north toward Iraq. Although the decision is to delay a ground offensive, one senior Pentagon official said that could change with one vital piece of intelligence that could give U.S. soldiers the edge if they went on the attack. Tom?
Thank you, Fred. And as the air war roared along today, almost 3,000 sorties today alone, the objectives are clear. in the words of General Powell, cut off and kill the Iraqi army. NBC's Arthur Kent is in Saudi Arabia tonight. He tells us how this strategy is proceeding. Arthur?
Tom, though General Schwarzkopf and his war planners estimate that some Iraqi divisions have lost 40% of their strength, the Allies want to improve their chances on the ground by putting still more pressure on Iraqi supply lines leading into Kuwait.
Allied aircraft like these French Jaguars are trying to stay ahead of resourceful Iraqi ground units that are in some places repairing bridges and roads almost as fast as the warplanes can destroy them.
We continue to attack them, and we do feel that we have significantly cut down the flow of military goods and services and equipment down into the Basra area for further transfer into the southern KTO.
But until that flow is cut completely, say sources here, the air campaign will continue with raids on ammunition dumps and fuel depots like this one.
So that's the tank going up. And as he comes back, you see the secondary explosions there.
At forward air bases in Saudi Arabia, ground crews are being pressed to shorten turnaround time in rearming and fueling aircraft and sending them back on the attack.
The airplane comes in, he'll go and get some gas, come back and be loaded up with bombs, and then he's out of here.
On the border with Kuwait, mainly quiet today. Time for a curious public relations exercise. A group of Afghan mujahideen were transported to the front, apparently without arms, where U.S. Marines posed in a show of unity.
Since the Afghans have no experience in frontal warfare, no skills relevant to the breaching of Iraqi defenses, the appearance of the mujahideen here today is solely symbolic and out of step with the image of a finely tuned alliance projected here so far. Tom?
Thank you, Arthur Kent, in Saudi Arabia tonight. And when Nightly News continues in just a moment, inside Iraq and away from the war news, the daddy track here at home.
That was me, Tommy Lasorda, before I lost 30 pounds in 3 months on the Ultra Slim Fast plan. Now it's even easier to have my shake because Ultra Slim Fast comes ready to drink in new cans. Losing weight has never been so convenient. Wherever I am, I can have my shake. Ah, icy cold and delicious. Who says you can't take it with you?
Ultra Slim Fast. Give us a week. We'll take off the weight.
How do I know where to get my brakes done right?
Come to Midas. You get a lot of value for the price, plus peace of mind, knowing the job will be done right. That's why more people come to us for brakes, knowing that nobody beats Midas. Nobody.
In weather this raw, don't take chances, take chapstick. This infrared camera compares lips sealed with chapstick and lips without chapstick. Chapstick seals in moisture to heal and prevent chapped lips. Don't take chances, take chapstick.
Iraq showed again today that in a war of words, at least, it is well armed. Baghdad Radio reported 63 Allied air raids in the past 24 hours and claimed that 28 of them hit civilian installations. The Allies deny targeting those areas. The BBC's Jeremy Bowen reports now for NBC News from Baghdad.
Gradually, the Allies are cutting Baghdad in half. 3 of the 6 main bridges over the Tigris are now down, like this one, or badly damaged. This bridge was destroyed last night. Iraq's infrastructure has been bombed again and again. Outside Baghdad, though, mainly military traffic has been moving surprisingly freely on some of the main highways we've used. Martyrs Bridge in central Baghdad was the only other damage we were allowed to visit today in the city. It's still standing, but cars can't use it. Among the onlookers at the bridge were young men of 17 and 18, born in 1973, who today heard that they'd be called up for military service. The Iraqis took us outside Baghdad today as well, to the remains of the factory which they're still insisting made baby milk, and which the Americans say manufactured chemical and biological weapons. During our visit to the factory and at all the other locations we went to, we were supervised by Iraqi officials. The manager of the plant repeated his denials of the American allegations.
No, not biological, not chemical.
Sacks of ruined milk concentrate are being burnt in the ruins. One of them came from Britain. There's no question that the debris contains real milk powder. A Western journalist in Baghdad has been using it in her coffee for several weeks. But without a full chemical analysis, it's impossible to come to a definitive conclusion of their role in the Gulf after the war ends. Jeremy Bowen for NBC News, Baghdad.
And Iraq showed again today that it could still fire its Scud missiles. One targeted at Riyadh was knocked down by a Patriot. There was only minor damage there. Another landed in a deserted stretch of central Israel, and again, no one hurt. However, as NBC's Martin Fletcher in Tel Aviv reports now, Israelis were put through just the latest in a series of air raid drills. Martin, what's going on there tonight?
Tom, well, we just had another alert. That's the third today. One was a false alarm. One was a real one. A Scud fell, causing no damage. Another Scud fell just about 8 minutes ago, as far as we know, causing no damage and wounding no people. But Israelis are getting angry, Tom, at conflicting advice on what to do during air raids. Again, American patriots rose to the defense of Israel. And yet again, when the Iraqi Scud hit, almost every Israeli citizen was in the wrong place. Following army orders, Israelis shelter in top-floor rooms because gas is heavy and settles near the ground. But so far, there hasn't been gas war, and top-floor rooms are the worst place to be if the warhead is conventional, as they all have been. Debris falls through the roof, injuring families. So last night, the head of civil defense advised the nation, if possible, to go to basement bomb shelters. Then the army spokesman said, no, stay in your top-floor sealed rooms. That left the Agulski family angry.
And I am frightened. Well, I feel unhappy about it. I feel disappointed that those people who are in charge, who are supposed to be spokesmen, got confused.
Critics say the confusion is an intelligence failure.
The confusion is a result of a lack of precise intelligence. Since the military and intelligence authorities don't have the information whether Iraq has chemical capabilities with their Scud missiles, they don't want to take any chance.
And in public shelters, they argue about how come there aren't enough shelters for everybody. They say the reason the army doesn't advise people to go to their bomb shelters is that most people don't have any. More bad planning, they complain. Prime Minister Shamir told Israelis this weekend the worst is over, but the Scuds keep coming, and Israelis are still debating how to deal with them. Tom?
Thanks, Martin Fletcher. We'll be back in a moment with the American family. Dad's changing role here at home.
Ford Motor Company. Profiles in quality. Teamwork.
We work good as a team here on a job like this where all four of us can work together. That's what I said in '82. And today, teamwork is more important than ever.
Our paint job is only as good as a primer coat.
My primer coat's only as good as the body prep.
My body prep starts with a quality body panel. Together,
our goal is to build
the highest quality cars and trucks
in the world.
At Ford, quality is job one.
Ziploc presents Fingerman.
Hi, I am here to demonstrate a big new idea. That's right, introducing the new Gripper Zipper from Ziploc. Now the easiest closing bag there is. In fact, I can even close it, whoa, blindfolded. I know it's closing because I can feel the zipper grabbing hold. It's locking. Feel it close the first time, every time. And you don't have to see it to believe it. Ooh. Ziploc bags with the new Gripper Zipper. The easiest closing bag there is.
This is Jupiter. Not exactly what you imagined, huh? Same atmosphere, same language, same hairdo. But believe me, Jupiter's an advanced civilization. Just look at the menu. There's beef tenderloin at just 179 calories. That's hardly astronomical. Well, one small steak for me, one giant barbecue, mankind. Beef. Real food in Jupiter, Florida.
Roses are red, violets are blue. If you don't bring a Baskin-Robbins ice cream cake, we're through.
Play it safe. Order your Valentine's cake at Baskin-Robbins now.
We're back.
Could we be serious here?
You're the one with the 4 juice glasses.
Well, that's to make the point that Sunsweet prune juice
has more of 7 important vitamins and minerals than these other juices. And Sunsweet tastes great.
She's got it.
I always had it.
Tonight on The American Family, being a parent in the 1990s, we've heard a great deal about the mommy track, women tailoring their careers to their children. Well, now NBC's national correspondent Bob Kerr tells us about a daddy track.
It's midday. Courtney Chin is taking time off from work to watch his son in a preschool class. Chin recalls that when he was growing up, only his mother would show up at events like this. Now, with their own children, men at this daycare center in a Washington, D.C. suburb say they are much different from their fathers.
I try to spend as much time with them as I can, and being in the military, that's a little difficult, but try to work it in as much as I can.
It's increasingly clear that many fathers are on the daddy track, willing to put less emphasis on their own careers in order to spend more time on family matters.
I think there is a new father.
Part of Beverly King's job description at Los Angeles Water and Power is a sign of the times. She oversees family issues for the utilities' mothers and ever more demanding fathers.
They want to define what is the right role for them and not have it defined by society at large.
5 years ago at LA Water and Power, hardly any men signed up for company-sponsored parenting classes. Now, almost half the participants are men, 800 in all. At DuPont, they try to make it easy.
And let's not leave out fathers. They can take up to 6 months family leave when a couple is having or adopting a baby.
In 1985, only 12% of DuPont's male employees expressed interest in paternity leave. That number has almost tripled. Sandra Burrett advises companies on child care benefits and says in some firms, men have reason to be concerned if they take time off to be with their children.
They're worried about being labeled as a wimp. They go out the back door on the days that they have to pick up their child from child care, so nobody will see them leaving.
In the movie Parenthood, Steve Martin's character lost a promotion because he needed to spend more time with his son.
I know you're a lot smarter than Phil, but the guy works like a Trojan. He schmoozes clients, he brings in business. He's here nights, weekends. I own the guy, and that's what puts your name on the door.
Baby. Where's the baby?
Les Sotsky's name is on the door, yet he's the first partner in a big Washington, D.C. law firm to work part-time, 4 days a week. Every Monday while his wife is at work, Sotsky spends the day with daughter Sophie.
The way she relates to me by the close of the day on Monday is very different than the way she relates to me by Friday when I've been gone for 4 days. She's much closer to me. She reacts to me differently.
Men like Sotsky are aware there may be a professional price to be paid for being the kind of fathers they want to be. But to them, the price is worth it. Bob Kerr, NBC News, Washington.
Oh, wow.
When we come back, dropping airfares and John Chancellor's commentary.
Mary Brody won't feel the tiny lump in her breast for another 2 years. But she'll discover it tomorrow after her first mammogram, thanks in part to a new X-ray film created by DuPont that makes it safer to start mammography early. And for Mary, early detection means a 2-year head start on the rest of her life. At DuPont, we make the things that make a difference.
Hard to believe, but that was me, Dan Dierdorf, before I lost 40 pounds in 4 months with Ultra Slim Fast. Hey, I'm a big eater, but with Ultra Slim Fast, I never felt hungry. The plan is easy. I had a delicious shake for breakfast, another for lunch, and then a sensible dinner. I'm back to my college playing weight, and I feel terrific. Best of all, I'm not shaped like one of these anymore.
Ultra Slim Fast. Give us a week. We'll take off the weight.
So what are we hearing now? Wait on airbags for minivans. Nobody puts an airbag in a minivan. It's too tough to engineer them. Well, we did it anyway. No waiting, they're here. Sure, people still have to wear seatbelts with a minivan airbag. So what? Everybody should wear a seatbelt. No, some things you wait for, some things you don't. Minivans with airbags, you don't wait.
Your high-fiber cereal.
Tastes like a high-fiber cereal.
But my high-fiber cereal is different.
Why? Because it comes in a big red box?
No, because it's delicious.
Really?
It's the only one with this delicious combination of raisins, dates, nuts, and crunchy clusters.
Keeps sounding better and better.
And crispy high-fiber bran flakes.
That makes it perfect.
That makes it fruit and fiber.
That makes fruit and fiber my high-fiber cereal.
Post fruit and fiber cereal.
Delicious.
Why would you want your fiber any other way?
In his commentary tonight, John Chancellor looks at the many questions about this war still waiting for answers.
If or when the ground war begins, it will be an event without precedent for the people of this country. Half of the American population was born after 1957, so 50% of us are too young to remember Vietnam. And anyway, Vietnam was a different kind of war. The pain of Vietnam took a long time to build, but a ground war against Iraq could produce a lot of pain very quickly. We don't know how the American people would react to heavy casualties. Saddam Hussein thinks he knows. Before he invaded Kuwait, Saddam said the United States was a country that wouldn't accept 10,000 casualties in a single battle. I think that was another of President Hussein's miscalculations. If Iraq ever killed or wounded 10,000 Americans in a single battle, my guess is the American reaction would be savage. You'd hear demands for nuclear weapons. But the fact remains, nobody knows how the public would behave if there are heavy casualties. There's no way to predict public opinion on that. Everyone believes that support for the war will start to drop when the numbers of dead and wounded start to mount. Add it to your list of don't knows. We don't know if the ground war will begin, and we don't know when it will begin. We can't predict how long it might take. We don't know how well or how poorly the enemy will fight. And we don't know what our reaction will be if the fight gets really bloody. That's a lot of uncertainty at a difficult time.
And what is certain tonight is the effect that the war and its threat of terrorism, what those threats are having on transatlantic travel. The airlines, trying to recapture some of their lost business, have declared a war of their own, a fare war. And NBC's Robert Hager has more on that tonight.
The newest fare war, started late yesterday by British Air, could hardly have come at a worse time for its two U.S. competitors flying to Heathrow. Pan Am is already operating in bankruptcy. TWA has warned it could be as well if things don't turn around. But both airlines announced today they'll match the British Airways fares or go one better. Round-trip excursion tickets, U.S. to London, were $778 for spring and fall, $938 for summer. The new prices are one-third less, $481 for spring and fall, $588 for summer. And late today, TWA said it will cut fares even lower, cut fares in half. Did British Air start this to hurt the financially weaker U.S. airlines? British Air's John Wood.
Not at all. No, this incentive is done purely to help British Airways.
There have been fare wars in the U.S. as well. Last week, America West slashed ticket prices 50% briefly, forcing competitors on all its routes to match. And more signs of economic problems. British Air today announced layoffs of 4,600 employees. And U.S. Air announced layoffs of 3,600 and said it will close 4 crew support offices. U.S. Air's Patricia Goldman.
Anybody reading the financial pages knows that we're unfortunately one of many, if not most of the airline industry. Few have made a profit this year, and almost everyone is experiencing cutbacks.
Airlines in this country lost $2 billion last year. Aviation business consultant Hap Peretti.
I think we're going to see a continuation of 1990 results into 91. Very bleak first quarter.
Further sorting out. That means mergers or bankruptcies. Fewer airlines, less competition, and less likelihood of fare wars in the future. Robert Hager, NBC News, Washington.
On Wall Street today, stock prices continue their surge. The Dow Industrial Average broke the 2,900 mark for the first time since last July 31st.
The Financial Report has been brought to you by Merrill Lynch. We're bullish on the future.
What traits do you look for in a financial firm? A herd mentality? Unsteadiness? Complacency? Or do you look for strength? Stability? Knowledge of the world? What traits do you look for?
Today, there's a diet pill that can help you lose weight without caffeine to make you nervous.
All my life I've been struggling with my weight. With Dexatrim, I finally lost weight and without being hungry.
No matter what else you've tried, Dexatrim can help you lose weight. Just one works all day, morning through bedtime, to control your appetite and help you lose weight.
Dexatrim did it for me. I lost weight and feel great.
Today's caffeine-free Dexatrim. Nothing works harder to help you lose weight. Nothing.
A few small towns in western Pennsylvania have produced more football legends than any other place. Dan Marino, Johnny Unitas, George Blanda. What is it about these towns that gives birth to such greatness? The very things that drive us at Ford. When leadership is in your blood, you push yourself to even greater heights. In fact, starting right now, you'll be seeing more new models and exciting innovations from Ford than you've seen in years. Ford Motor Company.
Stress headache pain's like a rope around my skull. So I take Anacin. It's got the strength to tackle the pain fast.
Anacin or aspirin-free Anacin 3. Strong pain relief for today's stress headaches.
Why do I enjoy healthier Alpine Lace, low cholesterol and low sodium Swiss low cheese? Because it tastes so good. And now it's even lower in fat.
The healthy and tasty Swiss low cheese tastes so good. Alpine Lace.
These days, there may be no more fitting name than Can-Do, North Dakota, a small farming community with a heavy investment in Operation Desert Storm. The local National Guard unit was called to active duty, and as NBC's Roger O'Neill found on a visit back to Can-Do, life goes on, but there are a lot of empty places.
She is 2 months old now.
Yeah, this is Annie. Miss Annie Mae.
Her daddy, Gary Rader, is somewhere in Saudi Arabia. He has never hugged his youngest child.
Happy birthday, dear Katie.
Gary also missed daughter Katie's 5th birthday party last week. Frank Brager wasn't there to cheer when his son Ryan scored 12 points for the Can-Do Cubs.
His dad will be proud of him when he reads that in the paper.
Life indeed goes on with the soldiers gone, but there's sadness they are missing so much. From little things like the annual Can-Do pancake and sausage supper.
2 of them?
To lifetime treasures like the birth of a child.
Mohawk here. Oh, you didn't like that. Excuse me.
Can-Do, North Dakota is giving up an awful lot to the war. 1 out of 10 men and women here are on duty in the Gulf. But the sacrifices at home are a bit easier to accept now that the war has started, and the 132nd National Guard unit is playing such a vital role. The Can-Do unit is making sure troops on the front lines have fresh drinking water.
I think right now the water guys are probably more popular than probably the aircraft pilots are, especially around here they are.
As the war enters its 4th week, families of the soldiers say they are settling into a routine. They are anxious for letters, but not watching as much war news.
Are you set?
They are diverting their attention to an afternoon of sledding with the kids, to community activities, to ball games.
Okay, now come up the floor faster.
I find that going to a basketball game, I get rid of some of this frustration, anger that I don't have another outlet for.
There was a sense of relief here when the war began, because with a beginning, families say, there will be an end. Roger O'Neill, NBC News.
That's Nightly News up to the minute. We will continue on many of these stations in a moment.